Concert Pipeline. I'm Steve Jones. Today on the program, we have Gary Mullen and The Works. Gary Mullen does a show called One Night of Queen, which he tours and is going to be bringing to the Mountain Winery in Saratoga on July 18th, right around the corner. I'm going to be there. I'm going to take my son to that show. My son is into Queen music and who isn't really? I mean, they're amazing. And they're going to play all the freaking hits. And I've never been to Mountain Winery in Saratoga, but I hear such great things about the venue. It looks like this great venue that's like built into the rock of the location. Really beautiful. And so I'm looking forward to that show. And just similarly, another venue that's really amazing. I'm going to be going to the following week out in Colorado, and that is Red Rocks. And I'm going to be seeing Andrew McManus. He brings his three bands, Something Corporate, Jack's Mannequin, and Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness to that venue. Plays a bunch of songs from all of the bands, an evening with all of those bands. And he's going to have three pianos on stage. Going to be super cool. Really looking forward to that. But today we have Gary Mullen, and we had such a fun chat. Really look forward to dropping that. Going to bring it in just a moment. Before we do, share what's going on in my world right now. And the most recent thing I can think of is yesterday, my son did a lemonade stand. I may have mentioned it on the program, but he's been doing lemonade stands this summer. To just earn money, raise money. And we live in such a generous, giving neighborhood where people are just kind of stop and give him tips. They're just proud of him for being out there doing it and doing something for himself and earning. And I'll check on him. I'll be there sometime, but not stay the whole time. But he'll be out there hawking the sugar water and schmoozing it up with neighbors. And there's this one nice lady that has driven I think twice this year, once last year, and she has this bumper license plate frame that says "I stop at every lemonade stand." And so she's stopped at his lemonade stand twice within like the past week. And she's like, "You're bleeding me dry." Gives him $10 each time, which is super kind. But she yesterday said, "Hey, you seem like a really great dad to him. You're doing a great job. Keep it up." Which I appreciate. But the most interesting piece from his lemonade stand yesterday was at a moment when I wasn't there. I was at home reading a book for a few minutes in between checking on him, and my son called me up and he said, "Yeah, my classmate from school, her dad stopped by and and my classmate was there and her sister was there, and he gave me $100." And I'm like, "What? I'm sorry. Wait, what? What?" And then he got another customer coming up, so he couldn't finish. And I'm like, "Okay, back that train up." He's like, "No, what happened? Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding? Are you kidding me?" And he's like, "No, I'm not. It's real. He gave me $100." And I'm like, "What in the world is going on? That is ridiculous." I don't feel great about it. If I had been there, I would have been like, "No, no, 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 no. He can't even take this. Can't take this." I'm cool with people tipping like $2 or $3, $5, even the occasional 20. Okay, sure, we'll go with that. But $100, I just can't sit well with that. Problem is I don't know this dad. This is a kid from my son's class that he kind of has a crush on also, which is, yeah, kind of cute. But I don't know the family. Like, this isn't. And maybe he knows that my son and his daughter are friends at school. They've never hung out outside of school, so there's not even that connection. Um, but so I don't know. I don't know where they live. I don't know the dad's name. I don't. I also, I was texting my buddy about this, and he's like, "Well, you have to give it back." And I'm like, "I'd love to. I'd love to give that $100 back. I'd love to take it from my son's hand and say, 'Hey, good job.' But this isn't your $100. We have to give that back." But I have no means to do that. I have no means to do that because like, school is a month away from starting, more than a month, 5 weeks still from starting up, and so there's the time factor. Then I'm not sending my son to school with $100 bill in his backpack to give to a kid who may or may not be in his class next year. By the way, we don't know that, and to just carry it around to give to her and to kind of assume it gets home and that someone else won't steal it and that whole thing. As far as I can tell, the money is my son's at this point, which is, I mean, he earned it, I guess, but wow, wow. It's bonkers. It just blew my mind. Anyway, that's the most interesting thing. But we did the lemonade stand. We went and saw a movie and had dinner together. Like we went to the library. We did a bunch of things together yesterday. It was a fun day with my son. I'll tell you that. So, yeah, pretty cool. So let's get into it. Gary Mullen in the works, and one night of Queen. Again, playing at Mountain Winery in Saratoga. Shows across the U.S. right now. We had a really great chat. Let's bring in Gary Mullen. Gary, how's your day treating you so far?
Pretty quiet. I've been a quiet one. A couple of days at home. We've been doing some shows in the UK, so we've got a couple of downtime days before we do our couple of shows in the UK before they eventually go out to the US. So just having a nice chill day today. Cup of tea, British as anything. Cup of tea and a chill.
Absolutely. Cheers. Is that your dog on the cup?
That's one of my dogs. I have two French bulldogs. I've got one on one side and one on the other.
I dig it. I dig it. And so, are these like warm-up shows for you, or is it like a hometown crowd feel? Like, what's the vibe of these shows?
Um, they're all sort of Southern England and Northern England, so they're just like hope. Yeah, we've done shows we've done many times over the years, so you see the same faces a lot in the audience, which is kind of cool because they come to see the show and they support you, and it's nice to get that fan base, from Queen that's grown to us. So it's very cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'm interested. I mean, we'll dive in deep, but just to get started, I'm interested
Yeah.
kind of in the early days for you, like of this band. Was there that same level, I mean, of connection? What did it take to build an audience like you have so far?
Just hard work and perseverance, and giving the audience, you get requests of songs people want to hear or things they want to see in the show, and see you're just kind of building it to give something that a rock concert, because people want to see a rock concert. They come sometimes if it's a theatre setting, they think they're coming to a theatre show, and they kind of sit there with their arms folded like this, and you're like, no, it's not that kind of show.
We're not doing that. We won't be sitting down at this show, so.
Yeah, you want to sit down. I meet the gag in America, especially. If you want to sit down, go home, watch CNN. You're here for a rock concert. Let's rock.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like to, Do you encourage people during the show also to, like, if you see them sitting down, you're like, no, we got to get on our feet?
Yeah, because you get that kind of, it's that kind of like, I suppose, like in theatre land, there's that breaking of the fourth wall, where you don't really speak to the audience, and whereas we, like Queen and Freddie, actively encourage, chatting to the crowd, and then saying, hey, it's your show. You can either sit there for 2 hours and do a bit of that, and then go home and go, I wish I got up to the boogie. Or you could actually get up to the boogie if you really want to, and join in and kind of lose yourself in the music, and not pick your phone out and do that, which is becoming a big thing, as you know.
Oh, of course, you can't get away from it. I mean,
Yeah.
like, yeah, if it's kind of different for me. I have this kind of inner thing with that because I too at times have my phone out at concerts, but I also do a concert podcast and I kind of bring in that content but I've been going to concerts since back in the day, and I remember shows, where I'd have a video camera, not just my phone, but an actual video camera like on my shoulder, and where I'd interview bands and then record concerts. And it was so cool because I was the only one with video of those concerts.
Yeah,
back
exactly.
then.
Yeah.
And now everybody has it, and it's a thing, and it's like, okay, I can't hate on it too much, but it does take away from the connecting to a level, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about kind of when you were a kid a little bit. I'm interested in kind of how you got your start. I know your mom was a singer, your uncle was a singer. So did that kind of influence you into wanting to go in that direction?
Absolutely. I mean, my sort of earliest memories as a kid, we had a big family, and they do, with a big family equates to lots of parties, birthday parties, wedding anniversaries, whatever. And they'd all be family get-togethers. And my uncle, like I said, my Uncle Joe was a guy who, with acoustic guitar, would sit down and literally take the room over. He would just be the guy that was instrumental in getting everybody into having a good time. Great singer as well. So as a kid, I'd be sitting watching this guy in the corner, just going, wow, Imagine being able to do that. Imagine being able to actually sing and hold people's attention by doing it, and watching their entire mood change. Here, I'm going to sing your song and then play a song, and watch someone light up and join in. And I thought, that's really cool. And then watching my mum was always doing the housework with the radio on. There was always music in our house. You know, if you wanted a quiet time, it's the wrong house to be in.
Wrong
You
house,
know,
not happening there, huh? Yeah.
yeah, you know, it's not happening. You know, I mean, even like Christmas Day, you should wake you at 5 a.m. You know, with the music blaring. Like, let's get up, open the presents, and you're like, what? It's middle of the night, you know. So there was always music, and there was always these strange sort of family performances. And we had a thing in the UK called One Singer, One Song, where everyone had a song. So someone would start, you know, hey, come on, sing your song. And it's like, you know, Patsy Cline's Crazy. If someone else joined in, shut up, you'll get your turn in a minute. So there was always this random noise, cacophony of singers growing up for me. So it kind of makes sense that I've ended up being a singer all these years.
Yeah. Was there anything else? Like, was there a different direction you were kind of going, and then you're like, no, this is my path?
No, it's always been that thing. I always remember when I was 16 and I went to see my careers advisor at school, and he asked me what I wanted to do, and I told him a professional singer, and he laughed at me and sort of scoffed and said, "That's not a real career." And my reply was, "Well, tell that to Freddie Mercury, Mick Jagger, Brian Johnson, Robert Plant. Oh, they're stars." I went, "Yeah, but at one point they were like me. They weren't stars, and they didn't have
Yeah.
a big, you know, a record contract or a big stage." And I wish now I could. I've been doing this for. I've just had my 25th anniversary of performing, and I wish I could go back and meet them and go, "Told you, it can be done."
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
You showed them. You know, you've sold enough tickets to prove your
Yeah, that it can be done. You know.
yeah, absolutely. Uh, and so, so what was your first exposure to Queen? Was it just Queen on in your house a lot as a kid as well, or were there other bands? I mean, obviously, you named some others, AC/DC, and you know, so many other bands. But like, what were those early influences?
For me, for Queen, it was a real visual moment for me, and it was a We Are the Champions video with Freddie in the black and white leotard, you know, and of course
Mhm.
the video opens just with him sitting on the drum riser singing, you know, and then as it comes in, da, 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 and the band, the lights, the smoke, and it was just like, I was 4 years old, 4.5. I was like, what the hell is this? Who are these guys? And that was me. I was invested, you know, and I said to Mom, who's this? Well, that's Queen, that's Freddie Mercury, that's, you know, Brian May. And from that moment on, I was a fan. And that's carried on through my life. And I mean, I've seen me being on days off and or in backstage at venues and have a Queen concert playing on my iPad, and people say, "Why are you watching Queen?" It's like, because I'm a fan. I'm a fan paying tribute to my hero for other fans. I've never lost the element of being a fan. I still love listening to this band. I still, you know, get a kick out of watching Freddie live, you know, concerts and listening to the music. But that was my pivotal moment to become an actual fan, was seeing that one video, and it just changed my life.
Everything didn't. Yeah, you weren't even five, and your path was determined. So
Yeah, pretty much. And I remember saying to my granddad, and my granddad for my 5th birthday bought me an acoustic guitar. And I'm sort of going, well, what do you do with this? You know, what ends the music come out of? And my uncle started teaching me a couple of songs to play, and then I was wheeled out at the family parties with my little guitar, and
Mhm.
I like this. This is good fun. You know, people are watching me there, and it kind of was a thing that went on, and you know, I formed my first band when I was like 18 with my school buddy Gordon, and John, the drummer, our current drummer John, who's been with us since 2016, but I've known him for 30 years. He was 15, I was 18, my buddies were 18. We were playing we formed a heavy metal band. We were playing clubs where he technically was too young to play in, but we just told everybody he was 18. And he would come along and he would literally play a gig on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday night with us, and then go to high school on the Monday morning with his school uniform on and just go, you know what I mean? Like, virtually no sleep. Um, and we were Queen fans. We would sit and we'd dissect the music. We'd put on the records, showing our age, or the CD, and go, right, how are they doing that? How are they getting those harmonies? How's those guitar parts? How are they getting that sound? And it was it was like a science experiment for us, you know, delving into the music, which is carried on now that we're doing it for real. It's like, right, how did they get those backing vocals? How, you know, you're working things out more on a professional level. So the love's always been there.
Yeah. So that first band that you had when you're 18, was that, like kind of a tribute to Queen as well, or did you play other
No,
music?
no, it was a heavy metal band playing their own material. We were called Hellfire. We thought, let's get the most metal name we could think of. It sounds like Spinal Tap, you know, but
Yeah.
we thought it was cool. And we played our own songs, but we learned very quickly, if you're in a rock club playing stuff that people don't know,
Yeah.
they're gone, you lose them like that. So we'd throw in cover versions. We'd do Black Sabbath, we'd do Queen, we'd do AC/DC, we'd Iron Maiden, we'd throw other songs in, Judas Priest, bands we loved, and then go, here's one of our own. Because when you've got them going, you throw one of your own in, and then you do a couple of covers, and then you throw another couple of your own in, and that's how the set kind of went. And then people would say, hey man, you sound like Freddie Mercury, sing a Queen song. And I'd be like, all right. But back then I wanted to just be me,
Yeah.
do my thing, you know, and then, you know, go to karaoke and stuff. Hey man, can you sing a Queen song if I buy you a beer? Yeah, cool, whatever. And it was kind of casual. The Freddie thing was always very casual, or family parties. Sing I Want to Break Free, sing Bohemian Rhapsody. All right. Until this TV show in 2000, when everything just completely changed.
Yeah. So tell me about that. Obviously, that was a big marker in your career and kind of taking things to the next level. I know it wasn't like an American Idol competition show where there's no prize at the end or anything, but
Yeah.
it was your jumping off point. So how did that show come about? And tell me kind of how you launched your career from that.
So I was when I had a regular day job and on a Friday, no, on a Saturday night. This program was Saturday primetime viewing. You know, everyone in the UK watched this TV show, and it was basically, you know, if you thought you sounded like Elvis Presley or Madonna or Stevie Wonder or whatever, you would go on the show, they'd dress you up, and people would guess who it's going to be. They'd tell the presenter, go through these smoky doors, and then come out dressed up as the person, and then you'd sing, and it was a sound-alike show. When the final year before, my mum had called my house, because she only lived up the street. She called, oh, did you watch the show? Yeah, it was great. The guy was great. It was doing Chris the Burg Lady in Red. I was like, oh, great. You should be on that. And I was like, nah, no chance. No way. The Queen fans would hate it. They'd crucify me. No. What I didn't know is before she called me, there was like a thing at the end of the show, contestant hotline, called the number for an application form. And she did. I gave it to my wife, Jackie, fill that in, don't tell them. So I'm just working away doing my thing, and I got a call from the network saying, can you come for an audition? And I'm like, for what? I didn't apply for that. and then I thought it was my friend winding me up, so I was like, yeah, whatever, you know, bye-bye.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days later, they called me again, sent me an official letter from the network saying, we really want you to come for an audition in Glasgow, your hometown, with the, you know, to see if you can get through the rounds to be on the next season of the show. So I thought, go along, I'll do the audition, it'll be a laugh, something to tell the kids when they're older. And then it just was like, come to the next audition, we've picked you for the show. And then it started gaining traction and gaining legs, and I'm like, I don't know, but I don't know if I like this being on TV. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I ended up winning the whole thing, like with the biggest vote ever, which blew me away. Because if you you can watch the footage on YouTube. I look like a deer that's jumped out in front of a truck.
Yeah, you're just not in your element. You're like, yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not in my happy place. I'm just like, what's going on? Who's won this? It's you. What? And then kind of dragged through. You got to sing the song at the end of the show as the credits roll and all this kind of thing. You're the champion. And then this whole, well, can you do press? Can you do this? Can you do a show here? Can you do a show? And I'm like, I don't do this like professionally. Help.
It's always what you wanted to do, right? Like, I mean,
yeah. But then when it comes like a juggernaut, like crashing through your door with no build up, you're kind of like, whoa, what's going on? And kind of like found my feet, and then was like, okay, well, I'll do it for maybe a couple of months and see how it goes. And a couple of months became a year. We'll do it for a year, do it for 2 years. and we're a quarter of a century down, and
Yeah.
I'm still doing it, and it honestly, there's moments when grateful is not the word. I mean, I get to go around the world. I get to see some amazing places. I get to play venues Queen played, and I get stand on stage and make people smile. That is it's the best job in the world. And I find myself sometimes kind of stopping myself mid-show in my head and going, right, take this in, where you are, what you're doing, because this is pretty special, you know, and be grateful, because you just don't know when tomorrow might be the last ever show. So and that's our philosophy, is play the show as if it was your last.
Yeah.
You know, just go out there and just go all guns blazing. And if someone leaves the show and goes, I don't like that, well, you have nothing left to give you. We've given you everything for 2 hours. So yeah, so that was the whole thing of from the beginning. It was just work hard and give people something that hopefully will make them have a good time. And you're playing songs that are in the public consciousness, songs that people have a connection to personally for each person that's singing it, like I do throughout my life as well.
Yeah. So you formed the Works in 2002, like 2 years after that. Tell me kind of about how the band came about.
Well,
And
okay. Well, it was actually technically 2001 that we formed, but our first show was 2002.
okay.
Um, and I'd known Davey Brockett, our guitarist, for a number of years, and Davey was the kind of in-demand session player because he's so good. Everyone wanted him to play in their band or record pieces of music with him, and we got chatting. He used to work in a music store in Glasgow, a guitar shop called Sound Control, sort of, as well as playing music. And I remember it as clear as day. I went in one day and he was always standing playing a guitar, always playing a guitar, regardless, unless he was serving a customer. And I was like, hey man, he's like, hey. I was like, I'm wanting to form a band. And I know we had a conversation before about you being your connection with Queen and you love Brian May. He's like, yeah. I says, I need some musicians. Let me see what I can do. And he called me a week later, right? I've got a band. I'm like, dude, we haven't got any gigs yet. I didn't think you were going to come back that quickly. And we rehearsed for a few months. This was maybe late September 2001. And we rehearsed for a few months. And then our first show was May 2002. And that was it. It just took off. And again, the conversation of how long do you think it'll last? And we actually laughed about it on our spring tour in America there past. Like, remember that conversation we had? And it was like maybe 2 years. And it was like, yeah. He's like, we're coming up to nearly 25 years with the band. I was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So,
It's
incredible.
it's incredible for sure. And I think you've done at least 2 tours of the US. Is that right, or is it more than
Dude,
that?
geez, done a
Is
lot
it
more than 2 tours.
a
All we've
lot more than
done,
two? How often do you get out here?
we this year we're getting out 3 times.
Wow. Okay.
We did a spring tour. We're just about doing a summer tour, and then we're out in the fall. We used to do these massive, like 13, 14, 15, 16 week long tours,
Yeah.
just one batch. But when you're unpacking a suitcase every day, and then repacking it and then going in a hotel room every day and being on a tour bus, there comes a point when you're like, you lose your grip on home and reality. You kind of go a bit mad, And we were just like, and I said to my manager, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be, let's split them up if we're going to do them, and put the time together, do maybe 6 to 8 weeks, do that, and then if we're going to have more dates, have a summer tour, and then if we have extras, put them in the fall. So we've been coming out of America since 2008,
Okay.
and we were one of the first bands to really, one, come out of Europe and do it, but two, speaking to other American tributes that we became friends with, to really go into performing arts centres and theatres and concert halls and do it on a big scale, because everyone was kind of playing clubs and bars and rock clubs and kind of being small venues, where we just thought, to hell with it, let's just go with the big lighting rig, big stage, and just do it. And it's either going to fail or it's going to work. And luckily
Yeah.
it worked. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Let's talk about Brian May for a minute, because I know you had this experience where you went to his solo show and were like trying to fight for an autograph for him, and the table flipped, kind of 180 after after that.
Yeah.
Where you,
Yeah, it's funny because the Brian May thing's got there's so many kind of chapters in this. Number one, when I won Stars and Eyes, he contacted me. and congratulated me, and that blew me away. I was like, oh my God, and sent me a handwritten letter to say congratulations, you know, and all that, and that blew me away. But before that, I'd went to see his solo tour. I was standing outside waiting at the tour bus with everybody else, and a girl fell, and we went to pick her up, and Brian picked her up, helped pick her up as well, because he was, oh my God, you okay? And then as I went to go this, everyone did that, and I ended up face planting the side of the bus, and kind of got spun round. And when I turned round, the door shut and gone. I was like, crap. So that was my kind of first almost interaction with Brian. And then the show came along, and then I got an invite to actually go backstage and meet him at the Paul Rodgers Queen show in 2008. And I did. And I told him that story, and he, laughed his ass off when I told him that I'd basically done one of those. I'd literally went like that, and next thing I knew, I was eating the side of a door. And he thought that was funny as anything. And we chatted for about 45 minutes just about touring and music, and it was just so cool. And then as I went to walk away, I got a picture taken, and I went to walk away, and I put my hand out, and he knocked my hand out the way and gave me a hug and said, keep up the good work. Freddie would be proud, and let me go, and was like, take care. And I was just like, what? What just happened?
Out of body experience.
Yeah, such a lovely, modest, kind guy. And then later on, when he released his own guitar company to build replicas of his homemade guitar, we got Davey, our guitarist, an endorsement deal with the company. So Davey's got several of the guitars that he plays on stage are from Brian May Guitars. He's one of the first guys to get an endorsement deal in the tribute world. And I called the office to say, hey, by the way, thanks very much for sending the guitars. And Brian was in the background. Hope the guitars are good. And I'm like, awesome, man. It's amazing. And then for my 50th birthday was 2 years ago, my kids contacted Brian May Guitars and got me one of the red specials signed by Brian for my birthday. So I was just like, so I've got it here in my man attic with all my music stuff, and and my Star Wars nerd and all my kind of comic book stuff. I've got this Brian May guitar with Brian. I'm like, yep, there you go. So it's been quite a journey with Brian, from getting hit in the face with a door to meeting him, to having a signed guitar, in my collections. It's been a hell of a journey.
Yeah. Do you play that guitar, or do you just kind of keep it there, like I'm not touching it, sort of thing?
I do bring it out from time to time. I'm not a great guitar player, but I've got one of those little Vox AC30 replicator amplifiers that the Brian May guitars sell. And when you plug that guitar in and you hit it, it's just like, oh, that sounds nice. But yeah. I don't want to rob the autograph, so it gets put away. It's like, that's enough.
Just for a little twink.
Just for a couple of minutes. Yeah, and it's like, back you go to bed. Don't touch. It's kind of like Spinal Tap and Andrew Tuffo, don't touch, not even point. Don't look at it.
Yeah. You played Hyde Park, right?
Yeah. The greatest cure for constipation ever. I mean, oh my God, it was. When we went that day, the BBC had contacted us and said, hey, we'd love you to be part of this Promise in the Park concert. And I knew about it. It happens every year. It's a big thing. And we were like, all right, we'll be on at 9 o'clock in the morning when there's 20 people in the park. Oh, no, you'll be on at 6:30 when there'll be 45,000 people in the park. It was like, sorry, say what now? And that's exactly what happened. We got there and it's live on TV. It's been broadcast to other parks across the UK that are having massive concerts. It's on the internet. Have a good one. And it was like, okay then. And we did it. And it was one of those kind of surreal out-of-body experiences where we did the performance and we walked off, and I said to my tour manager at the time, I was like, were we any good? And he was like, yeah. Did you not? I went, no, I just switched off. Not many people. I was like, nope. And that was a big, and then they asked us back 2 years later to do it again, which was incredible. It was an incredible experience because you've just got people from all over the world. The vibe in the park was just amazing. And you're playing where the Rolling Stones have played and where Queen played themselves in 1976. It's like, that will do for me. That was a win straight away. So yeah, it was an incredible day. I took my mum down as well, and she felt like a queen backstage because people kept filling up she ended up a bit tipsy because they kept like giving her drinks all day. She's like, oh, this is great. And she's sadly no longer with us, but it was nice for. She started the journey, so it was nice for her to be there, and that was her biggest ever show, and she was there. You know,
Yeah, she got to see it. You know,
yeah, backstage with her tour pass like Wayne's World and a glass of wine. You know, kind of like, look at me, I'm a star, I'm with the star. You know, it was so funny.
I'm sure she couldn't have been more proud. Yeah.
Yeah, she ended up getting drunk with the presenter, who was this big national TV and radio star, and she ended up getting drunk with him. And I'm just like, oh god, I couldn't find him. She was on the stage, like getting drunk. I think there was like she actually that day was Keith Richards. I wasn't. She was.
Yeah,
she was the most rock and roll person on the day. We were all kind of like, keep you know, can't drink, got to be professional, and she's like, oh, wine, you know.
She is all about it. Yeah.
Yeah, superb.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite places to play in the United States, or when you come to the Bay Area, even?
Funnily, Humphrey's Concerts by the Bay is a real favorite for us down in San Diego, because you're right next to the. For anyone that's never been before, it's at the back of a hotel, like the actual. It's an outdoor arena, and you're next to the water. So you have all the people that have bought tickets, all the people who have got freebies because they've got hotel balcony seats, and then you've got all these people in boats and canoes and sort of kayaks that sail up with coolers and have a few drinks and party, and it's brilliant. And of course, we've got the Mountain Winery in Saratoga on the Palm, which is right above Silicon Valley, which is an incredible venue to play. I mean, we played it first time, I think it was 2019, and we got out the bus at the top of the car park, and you go down in like a golf cart to the actual stage, and it was like, this place is incredible. I mean, it's a wine vineyard with a concert outdoor like amphitheater. This is something special. So that is one of our absolute highlights.
And you're going to be there July 18th, also at the Mountain Winery. I'm going to try and get to the show.
Come along and say hi and let us know what you think. It's one of those shows where the audience just get it. You know, they come because again, it's an unusual concert setting for us because it's outdoor. It's on the top of a mountain. You know, it's in a vineyard. You're like, what a strange place to have a show. But everybody that comes to the gig, they're just in from the get go. From when the lights go down and the smoke starts and the lights go on for the show, they're in. They're just up for a party, you know. And it being in a vineyard definitely helps with the atmosphere, shall we say?
Oh yeah. Drinking is heavily encouraged.
Yeah, absolutely. We did one time I'll tell you a very, very quick funny story. The first time we were played, our tour manager said at the time, so hold any latecomers that come, hold them for the first song and then let them in. The problem was that 3/4 of the audience were still in the bars when the show started.
Really?
So the security held most of the audience at the gate. So we go on and we run on, and I'm looking thinking, they told us this was sold out. Where's all the people?
Yeah.
And then the first song stopped and there was literally hundreds of people running in with drinks like this. And it was like, and our tour manager kind of went, my bad, sorry. And then it just filled up with people. It was like, okay, you're all at the bar. Fantastic.
Well, that's an interesting concert experience, huh? Like, very intimate at first, and then
and hold them at 3,000 people. So it went from like maybe 500 or 600 people to 3,000 people in about 5 minutes. It was like,
what just happened?
It was just like ants with beer and wine just running to their seats. Just hundreds of people. It was really. I mean, I had a fit of the giggles. It was like,
oh yeah,
thanks for coming. You're all late, but we'll let you off for that. It's okay. Let's carry on. And we just carried on with the show. But it was so funny and a lot of fun. And it added a real fun element to the show because it was like, that was funny, right? Let's just keep this atmosphere going. And it was great. But it is a definite concert highlight for us all year. I mean, we look forward to it because it's usually an annual event. And and we played there, and I said to the guy, who have you got coming in next? He went, I've got Rod Stewart in 2 days. And it was like, Rod Stewart? What? Actual Rod Stewart? Yeah. I'm like, well, I met him before, so tell him I said hi. And it was, it was like random as anything. We'll get Rod Stewart and Duran Duran. I'm like, brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, uh, absolutely. How many times have you seen Queen live?
Sorry,
How many
how
times have
many?
you seen Queen live? Yeah.
You know, I've never actually saw him with Freddie. I saw him with Paul Rodgers and I saw him with Adam Lambert. And it's only been a couple of times. I've saw Brian twice on his solo tour. I've saw Roger on his solo tour twice, but I never got to see Queen with Freddie because I was 13 when they
Yeah.
did the Magic tour in 1986, and I tried to get money together with my buddy. We were trying to get all, scrimping and saving, and by the time we'd got the money together, the concert was sold out. The whole tour was gone. So that's my biggest regret is that I never got to see Queen with Freddie. So I saw him with Paul Rodgers and I saw him with Adam Lambert, and I've seen Brian and Roger solo. But yeah, never with Freddie. I've met so many people at our concerts that were like, yeah, I saw him in Madison Square Garden. I was at Live Aid. I was at Wembley, and I'm just like, yeah, I hate you.
Yeah. What did you take from those experiences seeing them live, to kind of bring into your own show?
I think it's just the energy and the connection with the audience. The Queen thing was, and they came around at a time when a lot of bands, there was two kind of factions of bands. There was the kind of head down, look at the floor kind of bands that, or the kind of prog rock guys that was all about the music, don't interact with the audience, just play the music. And then there was guys like, Bowie was coming through, Mark Bolan was coming through, and then Freddie came through, and these guys who were, it was all about the performance to the crowd and then involving the crowd, Jagger as well, involving the crowd in the show, and that energy and that, charisma just pouring out of these people. See, it was infectious. It was like a tsunami of, energy coming from the stage. And even watching these guys who are now old guys, they are old guys coming out, Brian coming out with that guitar and just going, you're just like, it's Brian May. It's the rock god himself,
Yeah.
And Roger beating the crap out the drums. And these guys are pensioners. You're like, you should be sitting drinking cocoa, but you're out there, you're rocking the crap out of it. And it does, you take that away and you go, right, I'm taking that energy, and that's got to be the energy that you've got to give to the crowd, because these guys, even this far down the road, still love it. It's like Jagger. People saying about Jagger, you're in your 80s. Like Ringo's still out at 84 with the All-Star Band, jumping around at the front, playing the drums, singing. Why does he do it? Because what else is he going to do? He's done it since he was 15.
It's all you know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to do it. He's not doing it for the money. McCartney doesn't need the money. Jagger doesn't need the money. But he loves it. He actually genuinely loves it. And that is something that we do. We enjoy each other's company, which is why we're always out to kill. We've not killed each other yet. So there's the social aspect of when we've got a day off. Hey, do you want to go out for dinner? Do you want to go see a movie? Do you want to, just hang out? We know when to give each other space, and we know when it comes showtime, we've got an incredible team of people, crew and band, and our mission statement is to give that audience 120% every night.
Yeah.
There's no, oh, I'm not feeling it tonight. I don't care. Put your big boy pants on and let's rock. I've got a cold. Screw your cold. Let's go. We've got people coming to see the show, and you've got to just be heart and soul. And you've got to enjoy it. All the guys that are in our band and all the guys that are in our crew actually want to be there and actually want to put on a show for people, so that they can, when the show finishes and the trucks are packed and the show is done, they go on the tour bus and go, yep, that was a good day. That was a good night.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you had any really weird experiences as Freddie Mercury at any of your shows? I imagine over the 25 years, something crazy has had to
one of the funniest ones was in Portsmouth in England, which has a naval base next door, right? So they've got the Marines, the British Marines are based there. And we were doing this theatre, and it was a beautiful old, like vaudeville built, 1800s, like a 1200, 1500 seater theatre, and it's very close. Everything's very close. And I don't wear glasses on stage, and I don't wear contacts. I can see close, but distance the audience just becomes a big pink blob.
Yeah.
But in this the kind of the royal boxes at the sides, and there was all this glitter and like a lot of like shimmering things, and in the front row was like a bachelorette party, and they were shouting to this royal box, and I realised it was women here and guys up here. But I'm like, what's the deal with these guys? And I'm like, what's the deal with you guys up here? And I got the follow spot guy to do this. And it was a group of Marines from the base who were on a night off or a weekend off. And they came in various stages of Freddy get up over the years. So
really?
one in the actual silver lamy jumpsuit, right? One in the leather shorts with the tash and the leather hat. One dresses Freddy with the boobs and the skirt like break free. One dresses Wembley Freddy. I mean, they had invested in it, right? And I'm like, it's the Fredettes. You got to come on stage and join me. So I got them on stage. So I got extended security, bring them through. And we did the song Keep Yourself Alive, which is a drum solo, and we all run off the stage. And they'd walked out a dance routine because they're military. So during the song, they're doing all these star jumps and push-ups, and it was one enough. I couldn't sing for laughing. I actually sat on the drum lines. I couldn't breathe. And at the end of the song, I was high-fiving them and hugging them. I was like, give a big round of applause for these guys. And the main guy said, we're coming to see ABBA tomorrow night, and walked off. And I couldn't stop laughing because I thought, they're going to turn up dressed as ABBA. They're out for a party. So that was just watching all these tough Marines dressed up as Freddy and different. It was like the village people gone wrong. You know?
Yeah, like something's not right.
Yeah. But that's meticulously military precision, like dance routine that they've all walked out and go, left, right, start up. And I couldn't breathe. I could not breathe. I couldn't sing. And the crowd loved it. They absolutely loved it, you know. And I said to them, Jesus, you guys should go on stage and do the show for us. We'll just go to the bar.
Our job here is done, you know.
Yeah. So we've had things like that. We've had all sorts of dress ups and random things that, you know, people come, you know, in a taxi or on a bus dressed up as Queen with the wigs and you go, how'd you get here? On the bus? And you're like, you came on the bus dressed like that? Yeah. I'm like, well, okay. So it's the fun element. It's the whole, you know, that happened. We also had a lady who came on one night and literally took her clothes off on stage.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I say she took her clothes off. She didn't have much on to start off with. She had a fur coat, which underneath all she had was a pair of black lace panties and a pair of boots.
Uh-huh.
And she went like that, and everything was out.
It was free.
Yeah, and she was just doing the kind of dance, and the security ran on stage to try and get her, and they couldn't figure out where to grab her, and I just lost it. I couldn't, and they chased her like the old Benny Hill TV show, round the stage until they eventually managed to grab her. Yeah, until they eventually managed to grab her and turn her side on, and she's blowing kisses like Gypsy Rose Lee, and I'll just completely lost it. I mean, again, couldn't breathe.
You can't keep it together when that happens. Yeah.
I used to do meet and greets after the show, so people were coming. Oh, was she with you? Did she come with you on tour? We're like, no. We had no idea who she is, and we have no idea that was going to happen. That was not staged.
Not included with the ticket price. It was.
Yeah, and she climbed over the orchestra pit to get to the stage, which was like 10 feet deep with a gap. And I thought, that's impressive. That's commitment.
She was committed to her act.
She was, and like I say, she had obviously had no shame because she showed 2,000 people in the audience that she had no shame because everything was on view.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. Tell me about your album Blood, Sweat, and Beers, because aside from this, you have a solo album that you did with Barry Kelly, and I listened to it, and it kind of even has a Queen feel to it a little bit. But tell me kind of about creating it.
Yeah, so Barry's my brother-in-law and was in my second band with me, guitarist. He's actually a physics teacher now. He's actually he's got a proper job. He's got a real job, you know, actually teaches people, does something intelligent. But an incredible guitar player. And we had a summer off. I had a few weeks off in the summer. I think it was 2010, I think it was. We had a friend that sadly passed away that owns a studio And he's like, hey, you guys should come up and just jam and see what happens. And we'd no premise to write anything or do anything. We just went in, and it was a load of instruments, and it's like, hey, let's play some instruments and jam. Right, I'll go on the drums, you on the guitar, and we'll have a jam. Because I play a little bit of drums and a bit of keyboard and whatnot. And then these songs just kind of took shape, and it wasn't even going to be released, and they were never really properly finished. We kind of done them quickly, and they were most of the stuff was done live, and a few overdubs of instruments and whatnot. And then one of our friends went, you should release that. And we went, I had a friend who was an artist who designed an album cover, and she's like, go off, designed you an album cover. And other people were doing things and putting this thing in motion without really us being involved. It was like, all right, you've got an album cover, great, smashing. Or you can go onto iTunes and sell it. Okay. And we just put it out there, and we sold a few copies, and it never set the world on fire, but we didn't care. It was just a summer with two friends in a studio. We got our old bass player at the time, who's no longer with the band, Billy. He came in and jammed on a few songs and put bass down, and it was just a bit of fun. It was just, let's do something different, and we haven't played together for a while, so let's just go in and see what happens. And that's what came out of it, and it turned out okay, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not, excuse me, it's not Abbey Road, but I don't care.
Yeah, yeah. Did you ever play any of it live?
No. It was never
Just
done. It was just a record. It was never done for live. And people said, oh, you should play it. Well, who's going to turn up? Two people and a sheepdog, you know, all the family. Yay, with the little flags. Yeah, well done. And it was, like I say, it was just a summer project for two guys that, you know, are friends and brothers, and wanted to do something fun. That was it. That's all it was. And if people like it, if people liked it, and some people did really, really like it, and, oh my God, love that song. And it's like, great, brilliant. It was just done as a bit of fun.
Yeah, for sure. No, I like it. A couple of things, not necessarily music related, before we wrap it up, that I'm interested in. So you just went on your first cruise.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
I've had a little bit of the luggy this week, so I'm just trying to get rid of this cough. Yeah, horrible.
Get rid of it now.
Yeah, so my wife Jackie's been on a few cruises. The family, I've been away on tour. It's been my daughter. So, oh, you got? And I was like, I don't swim. You know, I don't like what's in the water. You know, shark playing the kettle. Like, yeah, not a fan. She's like, oh, it's not like that. It's not like, you know, being on a ferry across to an island or anything. It's a ship. It's a big ship.
Yeah.
So we went on a Virgin Voyage cruise, which was amazing. I mean, it's just like a floating hotel, and got to places that I'd never been. I went to Rome, went to the Vatican, went to Corsica, went to Italy. Went to Italy where they invented pesto and focaccia bread, which was incredible. Went down to Ibiza, to the old town, and I haven't been in Ibiza since I was 4 years old, in Spain, Spanish island. So it was great to go to like the Vatican and go to Rome, and we literally ran around all day and saw, like, you know, the Colosseum, the Vatican, you know, the Pantheon. It was like, right, go. And it was 9 hours of just sweating, just power walking, picture, look at it, do a tour, next place. So it wasn't exactly the both, excuse me, the sailing part's the relaxing part.
Yeah.
The excursions are like, go, and you're doing that. But it was great to go and see the Mediterranean and go and do, you know, I'd been to Barcelona. I'd never been to Barcelona. And of course, Freddie wrote the song Barcelona. I'd never been. And I went, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful city. And it was just nice to go and, because usually when we're on tour, you get to see a city for maybe a day off. And then, or you're coming in for the show. You have a couple hours to kill in the afternoon and the morning to do a bit of sightseeing and go and see things. And then the show, you're on the bus, you're gone.
Yeah, you don't get time to explore.
You don't get time to explore. So it was nice to, like, we had a night in Barcelona to just go out and see it and chill and see the sights the next day and do all that stuff before we went on the ship. And then when you're cruising around, you're getting a chance to go and see the towns and the cities and actually be a tourist. So it was amazing to just not thinking, right, I need to be back at the venue for, you know, 3 o'clock because the sound check's at 4 or 5 and you know, I get things ready, or I've got an interview for this. It was just like, I'm on holidays, I'm on vacation. I'm
just relax.
Have a glass of wine and then go walk and see some sights, and then go back on the ship and relax. So it was amazing. It was really nice to just. It was my first vacation in 6 years. I just realised it was my first vacation in 6 years.
Wow.
So I'm just like, yeah, let's have some time off.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, I just took my kids on a cruise this past week to Ensenada, Mexico.
Nice.
We did it last year too, similar cruise, and it's a good way to relax. It's just you have nowhere to be. You just you get off, you do the excursion, and kind of
Yeah.
see some of the sights and everything, and then back on the boat and relax, right? So
Yeah, and there's shows on the boat, and there's musicians, there's bands, and there's like solo artists and whatnot. So there was it, I ended up in a magic. I ended up getting taken up to be a volunteer in a magic show, which because I was at the front, shouldn't have sat at the front, but I did, and it was like, hey, you there? I'm like, oh god, here we go. So that was kind of weird to be be on stage and be involved in someone else's show for a change. But it was just nice to do it, and yeah, I would do it again, and I'm not going to wait 6 years to go on another vacation. Definitely not.
yeah, you gotta take the time. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It's a balance.
The shows will be there. So,
Yeah.
uh, and you're a Kevin Smith fan.
Yes, I am. We actually managed to get down to Jay and Silent Bob's a couple of times. We saw him when he came to Edinburgh a couple of years ago with the Hollywood Babylon show.
Yeah, with the rock department. Yeah.
Yeah. My son Ben, who's our LD, our light designer, is a massive fan. So when we got to the shop that day, all the guys from the Comic Book Men show were all in the shop. So he got a photograph, and we got to meet them. We got to chat. It was so cool. And they've got, and it's interesting with yesterday being the anniversary of the Keaton Batman movie. They have a replica Batman mask from that movie. And I said to Walt in the shop, "Is that for sale?" And he went, "No." And I went, "Hey man, everything's for sale." And he went, "That's not for sale." I went, "Name your price." And he went, "Nope." And I'm like, son of a bitch, because I was so angry. I was like, want to buy it because like, is that a movie prop? Might be. And I was like, damn it, here's my comics. Take my money for my comics, and away you go. So love his movies. Absolutely love. In fact, yeah, I am a bit of a fan.
But yeah, pretty crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of his movies. Actually, we've scheduled a few because we have movie nights on the bus. If you're having a travel day and you're bored, we'll pick a series of movies like Naked Gun or Batman. And the next ones that are up is Clerks, Mallrats.
Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yep. We've got it all lined up to watch on the next couple of days that we're on the tour bus in America, because all the guys we all like the same. We've all got the same sense of humor, so it's like, let's have a movie night, and that's the joy of having a cool tour bus. Is you can turn it into your mobile cinema. It's great.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I've never made it to the Red Bank stash, but I'm a big fan. I mean, I used to know Kevin Smith a little bit through his message board, and I interviewed him once, and when he was here, and he invited me down to LA to see Clerks 2 like a year before it came out,
awesome,
which was really cool. So I'm a big fan. I'm not as much on some of the recent stuff, but those movies were part of my growing up and everything, and his storytelling too. Like the first thing I saw was An Evening with Kevin Smith, and even before I kind of really got into his movies, and so I was always into his storytelling, and his podcast, Hollywood Babylon, like here too. It's
interesting. It's interesting as well when you go to Red Bank, because a lot of obviously it was filmed, most of the movie. I mean, the recent Clerks was filmed in Red Bank. You notice things, you notice places. It's
you
like,
recognize
that's in that scene, and that's in that scene, and oh my god, there's and you sort of see actual sets. Well, I'm not set though. Obviously, didn't have a set. It was just
it's like you've been there before, right? Like sort of thing, right? It feels like that.
Yeah,
right?
I've been here, and we were very lucky because the stash has now moved to bigger premises, so we got to the original, which was quite small. And we've also been to the new shop, which is like 3 times the size. I mean, it's an impressive place. And I love it and I hate it. My son and I love it and hate it in equal measures, because if we're in Red Bank, we go and we say to each other, right, if I spend any more than $50 in here, slap me. And then we get outside with bags of stuff and go,
You can't.
Damn it, once you spend 300, crap, I spent 350, damn it. And you go back and you've got to then figure out how you get the comics home, and because the weight and all that, and you buy things, stickers and all sorts of stuff. But he just gets you. They just get you.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, you're sucked in. Yeah.
It's like, take my money, you know?
Yeah, I went to the stash when it was in LA. He used to have one out there, and I went to that one. So the same sort of thing, like a kid in a candy store sort of thing, right? Because you're such a big fan of it all, you know. And Tell Him Steve Dave is my favorite podcast. I don't know if you listen to.
Oh yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's awesome that you got to talk to Walt and all that, you know, and everything. So.
Very cool. It was a cool day that day, actually, and especially for my son Ben, because he is a massive. Because he went to film school before he came on tour with us, and sort of fell into the touring aspect of it. So from a film school perspective, Kevin was one of his heroes. So to go to there and then get a chance to go and see Kevin, he's been to see Kevin twice on different things. It's a big thrill for him.
Yeah, it's so exciting and so cool. So. And something cool for you to share with your son, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're both a couple of kind of nerds, you know. I'm a massive, like, I'm looking forward to Superman coming out. That's my thing. My first movie I ever went to the cinema to see was Superman, Christopher Reeve. So for me, the new one's coming out. I'm taking my nephew to see it, who's like 15, and he's like, "Oh, we want to see Superman." I'm like, "Yeah, we're going to see Superman." So I'm a complete nerd, you know. So my son's the same, and that's my fault. I've turned him into a total nerd. But it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be, you know.
No, for sure. Do you have a favorite Superman?
What actual actor?
Yeah, I know, like an actor who played Superman. Yeah,
Christopher Reeve for me, my original guy. I remember going to the cinema. I was 6 years old, and watching that movie, and of course the tagline was "You believe a man can fly." I did believe a man could fly. I watched him fly. I was like, oh my God. It was the same experience as watching Freddie and Queen at the We Are the Champions video. It just blew my mind. And it's one of my go-to sort of retro movie nights. You know, Back to the Future, Superman, Star Wars, they're in.
Yeah, all the classics for sure. I mean, you can watch them. You watch them over and over again, and you know it doesn't get old, right? So.
And I do constantly.
That's so awesome. That's awesome. Well, Gary, thank you for taking the time today. This is so much fun. And yeah, and again, I'm going to try and make it out to the show at Saratoga. I haven't been there before, but I mean, it looks really amazing, you know. And
it's very hot. It's a very hot night. It's always a very hot night.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's a great atmosphere, and if you get out, you know, swing by and say hi and let us know what you think of the show. Well, we're I think it's the second show on the tour. Yeah, it's show number excuse me, show number 2. So we're coming out, and let's say it's a fun night.
Yeah, no, it looks good. Looks like you really become Freddie Mercury. You've seen some of the videos and everything, so it's really awesome how you transform and you kind of. I mean, obviously you've had a lot of time to do it, but that's what a cool gig you've got, huh?
Oh yeah, I get to be somebody else. It's like the Clark Kent Superman thing. I get to be the other guy, and it's kind of like Kiss as well, with the makeup, the wig and stuff. I can do a show and then go for like maybe dinner in a town after the show, or go for a drink, and people can be sitting next to me wearing a One Night of Queen t-shirt with my face on it, talking about the show, and they have no idea who I am. I'm just like, So I kind of like that anonymity part as well. That's kind of cool to have that Clark Kent Superman vibe, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very cool. I get to play dress up every night and sing songs that I love. So I do the best job. As a friend of mine said, it should be illegal what you do. And I was like, how? He goes, you get around the world and dress up and rock out every night. I was like, that's nothing illegal, but that's kind of cool. He's like, yeah, it's awesome. So yeah,
that's a kid's dream, a 4.5-year-old kid's dream, right?
Listen, this 51-year-old man's still a 6-year-old kid at heart. So I'm Peter Pan. Grown ups are boring. Stuff that. I'll just keep doing what I do until the body just says that's enough now. Then it'll be time to do something else.
Yeah, who wants to grow up? And as long as you make time for the cruises and the vacations now, then you're good, right? So
that's the regenerative cycle, you know.
Yeah.
Get the body back to repair for the next tour.
Yeah, recharge the battery and everything. So
yeah,
yeah. Well, Gary, have a great evening ahead. We'll see you
Thank you,
out
Steve.
here in California when you come on out, and maybe we'll talk some more Kevin Smith.
Fantastic. Take care, and thanks for having me on. Take care now.
That was my interview with Gary Mullen from Gary Mullen and the Works, and that takes us to our final segment on the program, the music news. Okay, the two biggest stories I have, and I'll sprinkle a couple of others in here also, but I have to start with the beginning reemergence of an era and the ending of an era, all that happened in the UK over the weekend, which, man, if I'd been there and been a fly on the wall, it would have been freaking amazing. I wish I could have pulled it off, but it would have cost me my house probably. And so much more to be able to be a fly on the wall at these experiences. But the first is the reemergence of an era that I never thought I'd see again, and that is Oasis. They reunited. And even during the reunion announcements and everything, as they're kind of like, yeah, we're going to get together, we're going to have a tour. We've announced all these shows. They sold out in half a second. I still didn't fully believe it because as I've grown up and seen reunions and band reunions of these cash grab that the bands do, where they'll take 5 years off and then come back and then play shows making twice as much as they were 5 years prior because people didn't think they'd ever see them again. And then they won't play again for another 10 years because they can last them. And then they'll get together 10 years, sort of thing. Oasis hasn't played together for 16 years. And I saw them in 2006. That was the only time I've ever seen them. And it was at Concord Pavilion, I believe. And it's so cool because they were just such a part of my youth that, that I didn't know what to, like I was just like, I never thought I'd see him play again. Those two brothers, Liam and I was going to say Paul. It's not Paul. Liam and who's the other Oasis brother? Uh, Uh, no, I got it before I even pulled it up. But we even know Gallagher. Oh my gosh, that was a brain fart. Like getting that, like they had such riff and had wanted nothing to do with each other and would talk so much shit against each other all the time. And they both went on and did had their own mildly successful bands. But they got back together and they did two shows over the weekend. Um, July 4th at and July 5th at Principality Stadium in Cardiff, Wales. And so it looks like the set lists were very similar. Actually, it looks like almost exactly the same, if not the same, from everything I'm seeing right now, both nights. So you're not getting a new show, you're getting the exact same show. And if you're planning on seeing Oasis down in LA, I'm going to guess you're going to get the exact same set. But to hear these songs that haven't been played in forever. They opened with "Hello." It's a good welcoming song, right? Hello, hi, nice to see you. First time they played it since 2002. I mean, they played so many songs from "What's the Story, Morning Glory," which was, as far as I can remember, the first cassette I ever got, and I played it to death in seventh grade. But some might say "Morning Glory." Uh, let's see, what else? The Cast No Shadow, whatever. They played "Don't Look Back in Anger," and of course Wonderwall and Champagne Supernova. They closed it out with in the encore, and so many songs. They played 23 song set, which is great. Um, and delivered for the fans, and they were cordial together. I don't think that they're friends anymore. I mean, still, but they were friendly, which is great. So, boys, this is back together. Call that a win. Something I never saw coming. And then on the other side of the tracks was in the UK was the end of an era, and that is Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath playing their last gigs, and so many bands paying tribute leading up to that all day. In a full shed. The Mastodon opened the set, and every band paid tribute to either Ozzy or Black Sabbath, playing a cover of one of their songs. And these are bands that could do full sets of their own, but they'd only play like three or four songs. I mean, Anthrax played, and they only played two songs, including Into the Void, a Black Sabbath cover. Lamb of God played three songs, playing Children of the Grave, covering Black Sabbath. Um, there's supergroup mashup songs where Tom Morello and a bunch of all stars got together and played a bunch of Ozzy and Sabbath covers, which is cool. Jack Black did a pre-recorded cover of Mr. Crowley, which he did when he did inducted Ozzy into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Alice in Chains played a couple songs. Of course, they played Man in the Box, but they also played Fairies Wear Boots, which is a Sabbath cover. There was a drum off, which included Travis Barker, Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Danny Carey. And then there was another super group of all stars, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, and Sammy Hagar, and Billy Corgan was playing in just one of these super groups. But they played some hits, and they played Rock Candy, which is Sammy Hagar and Montrose. They played Breaking the Law, Judas Priest cover. They played Walk This Way and Whole Lot of Love, and Aerosmith and Led Zeppelin mashup sort of thing. Pantera came on and played four songs. And what I love about this story is that Jason Momoa, who introduced the whole thing at the beginning, he started in like the photo pit, went from one pit to another. He started in the photo pit, gave the lead singer of Pantera a fist bump, and then went out in the middle of the crowd and started a circle pit. I mean, nobody's messing with Jason Momoa, but to see, Hollywood leading actor, like to go out there and just fuck shit up in celebration of Ozzy and Pantera and making his mark. It was wonderful. I watched the video of that one. So great. Tool played some songs. Slayer played a six-song set, including Wicked World, which was a Sabbath cover. Fred Durst did a pre-recorded thing, playing Changes. Excuse me. Guns N' Roses came out, played six songs. You're playing Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Welcome to the Jungle, Paradise City, yeah, other songs as well. And then Metallica did only six songs. When Metallica's at a show and playing only six songs, you're like, it leaves you wanting more. You're at a freaking rock show. I mean, we're epic proportions. They did two Sabbath covers, including Hole in the Sky and Johnny Blade. And then was the moment of truth. And Ozzy came out and did a solo set, playing I Don't Know, Mr. Crowley, Suicide Solution, Mama, I'm Coming Home, and then ending his solo set with Crazy Train, which is pretty epic. And then Black Sabbath came out with the original lineup, playing four songs, ending a whole day set of 70 songs. The original lineup played four songs with Ozzy, including War Pigs, NIB, Iron Man, and then closing out their last set ever with Paranoid. Uh, and I saw tears. I saw people just tearing up as Ozzy's playing Mama, I'm Coming Home. And it's just so sad, but so beautiful. And I love it. I wish I was there. I wish I was there. But, I've seen Ozzy, I've seen Black Sabbath. I got Ozzy to sign a book at a book signing once. And I mean, and I got to sneak a picture with my baby daughter Fern at the time in front, right in front of Ozzy Osbourne. Didn't talk to him or anything really, but I was there, and I've been an Ozzy fan, and it's the end of an era, and he got to go out, on top the way he wanted to, and I love that for him. I love that for Ozzy Osbourne, and his music will live on for freaking ever. And I hope that he gets to just relax at this end in this last chapter, however long that is, because it's been a rough couple of years for him. But he got to play a couple. Yeah, he got to play a last show. I'm so happy for him. Okay, let's end with a couple other stories here. Uh, Big pop stars just with their shit malfunctioning, and they get trapped in the sky. Start with the bigger one. Beyonce had this flying car where she's riding through the crowd, above the crowd, and during Carter concert, and this was in Houston. and it malfunctioned, and the car tilted sideways, which is just crazy. Her hometown Houston show Saturday night, and the car was tilted sideways, but they were able to bring it to a landing while she's still kind of singing the song, and she's heard saying "stop, stop, 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 stop" into the microphone while she remains suspended in the air. Um, the music was stopped, and the car slowly lowered to the stage. After she was on the ground, she told the crowd, "I want to thank y'all for loving me. If I ever fall, I know y'all will catch me. I'm sorry, but if you're 35 feet in the air and Beyonce's falling on top of you, I don't know that. I mean, maybe you'll break her fall, I guess, but I don't know that it will be very graceful. So maybe we should stop that." No, no, we're not going to stop that. We're going to keep doing this shit because Katy Perry got trapped in a malfunctioning metal sphere before. And the title of this story is "Before Confirming Her Split from Orlando Bloom." I don't know if she confirmed that in this metal sphere that she was in. Orlando and I broke up. Okay, we're done. Or maybe that was later, but or they're just getting two headlines from one story sort of thing. But it's kind of a funny one. But this was a malfunction during one of her live shows. She's currently on her Lifetimes tour, and she was playing in Australia. And so at one point in the gig, she was seen preparing to be lifted over the audience again. This over the audience thing, got to be over the audience, inside a metal sphere, which was suspended by some cables. However, as the handlers let go of the prop, it was seen starting to tilt to one side. Fanshawe footage shows Perry losing her footing briefly and holding on as the lights went down and the sphere was lowered. From there, the rest of the show seemed to go on without further issues. Of course, you can find video of it all online. And it came just before she confirmed rumors of her separation, I guess. So I'm not going to deal with the rest of that story because that's not music related, but glad they're both okay and get to continue on. But maybe do your concert from the ground. I don't know. I will say 25 years ago, I saw Aerosmith in Concord, and Steven Tyler swung on a rope right over my head. It's pretty damn cool. But all that was involved was a rope, and Steven Tyler was younger, slightly, and and in control of his own destiny when he was swinging on that rope over the audience. Where there's a lot more involved now. You can't just be swinging on a rope, apparently. Okay. Post Malone, speaking of falling, he did take a fall off stage while toasting a fan in the front row. And there's another fumble on top of that, but he is performing at the State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, as part of his 2025 Big Ass Stadium tour with Jelly Roll. And went over to the stage, was like cheersing a fan, but he was on a piece of the stage that apparently was not sturdy enough, and down he went. And while he went down, the music kept going, which is the other part of that. So that he was miming to "Pour Me a Drink" with the vocals continuing uninterrupted after the accident. So apparently, Post Malone's lip syncing. Whoops. Uh, you know, I don't want to go to a concert and see one of the artists that I'm singing lip sync. Not interested in that stuff. Just play the music. Okay. I'm going to see you live, so let's do a live show. Last story. We're ending with the Foo Fighters story, which is great. We just hit 30 years of Foo Fighters, and they released their first new song since Dave Grohl in infidelity scandal and firing of drummer. So they put out a new single called "Today's Song" and look toward their return to live music in October. And today's song, it features artwork by Grohl's daughter Harper. It's a typically anthemic Foo Fighters track with Grohl full of existential angst. "I woke today screaming for change. I knew that I must. So here lies a shadow, ashes to ashes, dust into dust." He wrote a lengthy letter alongside the release, retelling the story of the band and acknowledging former members, including Josh Freese, who was recently ousted in the band. But he recognized all that these members gave to him. And as I was reading this letter with the day, I listened to today's song the day it came out, the morning it came out, and it was one of the first 3,500 on YouTube to watch the lyric video for it. and I was waiting for I was waiting for at the end of his letter to announce who the new drummer of the Foo Fighters was. And it was kind of anticlimactic. There was no new drummer announced. And so I went to ChatGPT and looked up. I asked who drummed on today's song, and it was Dave Grohl. He drummed on the song, so they still have not brought out a new drummer, even though they have shows announced later in the year. As a big Foo Fighters fan, I'm just on edge. I just want to know. I want to know: is it going to who's it going to be, and is it going to be Shane Hawkins, Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins' son, who is currently playing in Chevy Metal, and who I'm going to actually see uh, this weekend, this coming weekend, play with Chevy Metal. He is a freaking badass on drums, and would love nothing more for him to take the back seat behind the kit with the Foo Fighters. He's awesome, and I've gotten to meet him very briefly once. Um, which is cool. But I've seen this is going to be my third time seeing Chevy Metal in like the last year or so. I've become a big fan of the band. They put on a freaking rock show, and I love it. They play old rock hits, and Shane Hawkins killed it on the drums. Wiley and Brent also in Chevy Metal. They're great too. It's a great band. I love it, and I look forward to seeing them in Menlo Park this weekend. Okay, that is our show for today. Thank you for tuning in. We are on that countdown to episode 500, which is coming in August. Next month, we are hitting episode 500. We have a great artist lined up, one that I'm a big fan of, and who has been on the show many times. Probably our most frequent guest, but we got him back for episode 500. I'll announce that soon, but not today. And next week on the program, we have John McAndrew. I mean, we will get into John McAndrew next week. We'll bring him in, but I had a good chat with him too. That was a lot of fun. So for all of us here at Concert Pipeline, I'm Steve Jones. We'll catch you next time.